I'm going to go through some of the things that I have to share with you. I put together a quick PowerPoint of resources for you, is because people wanted teaching strategies. I wanted to share with you, I'm going to do some screen share here, okay? All right, I am going to do a screen share. Okay. So Kathy's having trouble. One of the things that is very difficult is the connection speed. That makes things very difficult. And so we literally called our internet provider and negotiated with them to get a reduced rate on a higher internet speed. We didn't just buy what they had off the shelf. We called and we said, hey, we need help here. And they gave us faster internet speed for just a small amount. We got rid of some channels, like cable channels. And so we sacrificed some cable channels that we never would watch anyway, and then we got faster internet speed. So if you have that possibility, it's great. And then also hardwire. You're better off teaching from a hardwired computer if you have that ability, as opposed to wireless. It is really difficult to do this work, to teach with a computer that's on wireless. But if that's all you've got, that's all you've got. So I'm going to share some things with you here. Share screen. And just to give you some resources very quickly. All right.
It's like we got Erin back, Susan.
Hi, Erin, just in time. And Erin was looking for virtual accommodation, so she's just in time for this. Okay, so first what I wanted to show you is I have a YouTube channel that is full of resources that you can share. They're old. I'm going to tell you, I am much younger in these videos, but there's about how many? 60, let's see, I think it's somewhere around 60 different videos, 58 different videos on strategies that you can use to support students. And now what's good about these is many of them you do in person, but the reality is you can share these with parents. I actually have a book that I wrote for parents that talks about most of these strategies. So that is another tool that you can use in order to support your students. And just go to, if you're trying to get, because a lot of you wanted parent involvement too, is let them know what other resources are available online for them so that they have other access. All right, so I'm going to share something else with you here. So another way that you can get some great resources is to go to this download link, downloads.susanfitzell.com. I'll give you a second to copy it down. And what this does is it gives you all kinds of resources that you
Susan,
can
I'll
use.
put that in the chat box.
Okay, thank you. You can use. Now, you could also share these things with parents, although they are mostly teacher oriented. All right. Another option is I have a Facebook group now called Connecting a Community of Educators. All this stuff's free, by the way. All right. So let me give you a little bit of information on that. And what's wonderful about that group is that we've got people helping people, like teachers are helping teachers. So if I go to Facebook, I'm going to go to that group immediately. I want to show you what I've got there. I learned how to do what's called learning units. So if you join my group, Connecting Educators, it's Facebook groups, Connecting Educators, community, and you just search my name and Connecting a Community of Educators. Yeah, it's a Facebook group, but see this units right here? If I click on units, and scroll down, it's going a little bit slow. All right, scroll down. I have resources here for teaching students in the virtual remote. So I learned that I can actually use these units, these learning units. You can make a course out of it. I'm not doing that. To organize resources. So 6 ways to support students with disabilities. I know this might be too small for you to read yourself, so I'm sharing it with you. How to support learning differences in remote classrooms using assistive technology. One I'm going to click on because it's a lot of teachers are using this. I had never heard about it until last week. And so if you click on a link, it takes you right to the support. So this Seesaw, it opens it up, and Seesaw is a way to actually connect families. So if you want more resources, because here we have like just less than 40 minutes, I want you to know that these are there. And then best technology settings, I'm also starting to put little, like, what do you do for garbled sound in Zoom? I figured out some things for that. So there's a lot of resources here for you. You just join this group, it's free, and then I'm going to be continually adding information. And of course, in the discussion, you can always ask questions. So that's another thing that's available to you for support. Is this helpful?
Oh, yes, that's very helpful.
Yeah. Susan, Pamela had a question that I don't really understand. If Pamela, if you could ask Susan the question you posted in the block. You're muted.
Yes, you may.
I'm unmuted. Okay. Can we post those videos for parents on
I see. Okay.
on
Yes.
the platform that
Yes.
we're using to stay connected, like Class Dojo or whatever?
Yes, you have my permission to do that. Now, I'll also show you this slide. So there's a QR code here. So you could actually right now take a photograph of your screen, and you'll have this QR code, and you could put the QR code in this slide. Go ahead and put this exact thing right in your resource for parents, and it'll take them right to my YouTube videos.
Okay, that's awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, there's another thing I did for you is I have books on anyflip.com. Now, I'm not 100%, I did not get so far as to figure out how to get you there quickly. I'm going to type in anyflip.
I'm checking it out, Susan.
All right. So I have a bookshelf on anyflip.com, and I'm going to give you the code. All right. So I put up a book here for teaching English language arts with technology. This might help you, Pamela. There are some things there in these books. This one is more for secondary teachers, but Stacy, you might like iPads and other kids. Now these are old. I'm going to be straight with you. These are old books, but they still have a lot of value in them, and that's why I'm giving them to you free. And social emotional, this is anger management. It says it's for grades K-12, but the reality is that a lot of the activities in there I've done with young children, not preschool, but young children. A great book to have for preschoolers, Stacy, it's called A Volcano in My Tummy. And it may be available on Amazon as a used book, but A Volcano in My Tummy, and it's by Research Press, and it's a fabulous book for young children and social emotional. Hey, Erin, I'm glad you made it back. Kathy?
Yes, Susan, could you please repeat the flip Fitzell, whatever that website was?
Okay, I will put it in the chat box. I'll put the passcode in the chat box.
And I actually, this is Erin. I'm sorry, I had to join via my phone, so it's really small. I was wondering if this information would be available like via email or something, or will this be recorded so I can go back and get the...
It will be recorded. This is being recorded, and I will put it in the Facebook group. Did you catch that I have a Facebook group?
Yeah, I don't have Facebook. I'm like the only person ever probably right now.
Yeah, I don't, be on my newsletter list or email me privately, and we'll get you the link to this video.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't have Facebook either. My school started doing a lot of stuff on Facebook. So I created an account just for them.
Yeah. You know, more and more, I know Facebook has a really bad rap for some things, but their private groups are secure enough. I mean, I'm sure Facebook knows what's going on in them. They have to. But their private groups are pretty secure. And a lot of my colleagues, even in the corporate sector, are doing all kinds of things with Facebook groups. And what I love are those learning units that I showed you. You can literally design a whole course in the Facebook group, which is just awesome. The other thing that came up, and Kathy, this is something that maybe this, feel free, Kathy, to add to anything here, is building relationships. I worked with a school this year, a virtual school. They are all the time a virtual school, and they found this the most difficult thing, or even just getting kids to log on. And that check-in that you have, Pamela, is the right idea, and it's about building relationship with Xoom calls. I mean, you just got to just take the time to play. These teachers also said maybe there could be some incentive. Honestly, I was on a webinar today. It was only a half an hour long, and it seemed like every 7 minutes they had this red alarm go off, and then they were giving a prize away. And it was because they wanted people to stay the whole 30 minutes, so they kept giving away prizes, and they were books, and but they don't need to be. With kids and parents, it could be, you know, anything. Maybe your drive through McDonald's, especially when we have kids with poverty. Maybe your local McDonald's that's drive through and trying to get business will give you discount coupons for a free hamburger or a pizza place. Something that you can give to parents to get them engaged and get them, you know, working with you. Engaging and supporting parents, maybe with a tip of the week, because we know now more than ever. I was talking to one of my colleagues who is an administrator at a school district in Maryland, and they have from high poverty kids to kids without technology to kids who live in homes where the Zoom isn't working because the parents don't want any background showing. They don't want a window into their home. Another school district is having kids use green screens, the Zoom green screen option, because they know that, you know, parents don't want the kid, that invasion of their privacy. So one of the things that is really important is building this relationship with parents. And I think it's changing the face of education. I have been in a lot of situations where I work with schools across the country, and there are schools that I don't want parents involved, teachers, I don't want parents involved. Well, with online learning, that's just not optional anymore. We have got to involve parents and figure out a way to help them trust us and build that relationship. And with kids, sometimes it's just having those group Zoom calls, and even doing something kind of silly, you know, once in a while. I mean, wearing silly hats, or I have this thing, right? So my minion farter, you know. Can you see kids? They just love this, right? They're your preschoolers. Say, hey, yeah, love that. Okay, good job, guys. Here's do something that's going to make them laugh, that's going to get them engaged, that makes you human. I was just participating in a full day training, and the presenter literally had a dog in the room. I saw her let the dog in, and then she picked up the dog was misbehaving, I guess, underneath her, and she picked up this humongous dog, and she's like, I gotta get rid of my dog, and she walks out. And there's something about being authentic and human that brings people in. I think that's really important. I was on another Zoom call last night. It was a panel. There were 4 professional speakers, and one was sitting down and so personable and engaged, and one was standing there like this and just so perfect. And she sounded like she was speaking on the main stage of the platform. I'm like, my gosh, she's so stiff and not real. Who could relate to that? And I know this woman on stage is an amazingly warm and delightful person. She must not be that comfortable on video. But, you know, we've got to be ourselves. We've got to be real. We've got to be silly, because we've got to get parents and kids to trust us and want to come on. Now, you got a fart machine. You know, those preschoolers might come on just to hear the fart machine. You just don't know what they're going to do, right? So anything you can do to get them excited. Okay, so let's see. I've got a bunch of other strategies to share, but I would love to hear from you now. What we've got about a half an hour left. What would you like? What can I add to this? And Kathy, if you have any suggestions for engaging parents, or how to work with students that are preschool age or significantly challenged, this might be really good for you to share too. Let me unmute you.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. I was watching another video, and I thought it was so cool because the presenter got up because I'm really a believer in let's get that movement going and get up out of our chairs, etc. And even when I do my webinars, I'm up out of my chair sometimes, demonstrating some of these things. And one of those, and okay. Well, anyway, so but it was so cool. Because one of the things was getting up to move, and that was like putting on the recording of I feel good, that kind of that James Brown song, and shaking your hand, and just a great way of that movement break, and I guess really emphasizing to parents how important that is. Instead of them sitting, doing their work, pencil and paper tasks or whatever, to be able to actually get up and move and take those movement breaks. What the research shows is that our high school students need to be up at least every 50 minutes to an hour. And, as they get younger, especially when they're in preschool, they really probably shouldn't be sitting down at all. They should have all that movement going on as much as possible and incorporating. I love the way you included all these units, because I think that's going to be so helpful. And thank you for so many resources, Susan. I mean, this was really a great boon on our part to be able to see this and to get a hold of some of these resources and materials to share with parents and other teachers, of course. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So I know, Pamela, you have to go pretty soon, don't you?
I do.
In 2 minutes.
Need to go and get ready for my kiddos. I've got 2 minutes, so I need to go change.
Yep. So here's what, if you're on Facebook now, correct?
Yes.
So if you join the group, I will be posting this video.
I did join the group, and you approved me.
So. Oh, good. I didn't approve you, but somebody I authorized to approve you did.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Susan, I'm still trying to figure out how to access the books on AnyFlip, so we'll put some information out on how to do that as soon as we've got it sorted out.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Susan. And I'm going to try and make all the meetings I can, because you are just such an excellent resource. I am so glad I was able to connect with you.
I'm glad you could come too. Thank you. Okay. Good luck with your lesson.
Thanks, Pamela. Graders. Checks in the mail.
Yeah. All right. Oh,
bye,
look at this. I'm blurry now. So here's a trick that I've learned. Now I'm blurry. Watch this. If I disappear and then come back up, I'm not blurry anymore. I don't know why, but I guess it gives the camera like, oh, we'll focus on her. But it gets blurry.
Zoom is made by the same people that designed the Etch-a-Sketch.
All right, so let me go back to my questions and answers that I got coming in. That was really helpful. So virtual accommodations and strategies are what Erin wanted. Stacy, you also wanted to know how to support social and emotional. Do you have any specific, can you give us something more specific than that? Because Kathy is absolutely a wonderful resource there.
Again, it's kind of hard where I'm a para and the teacher is the one that's running the show. So the other day, what we tried doing on Zoom is obviously the parents are with us, and she's naming things, with different colors. Just think.
You speak closer to the mic.
With the kids. And I know she said she's having a difficult time. We're having a difficult time trying to get few of the special needs children on Zooming, just so we can reconnect with them. And I didn't know if there was anything we could probably do to do that.
And you said they're preschool? Did you say they're preschool?
Yeah.
So that's going to require their parents. I mean, their parents have to help with that. So that's really about building those relationships with the parents. Kathy, do you have any ideas?
I'm sorry, it was difficult for me to understand what she was saying. My internet connection must be very poor.
No, it was coming through here poorly too. Let me
Okay.
just
So I'm
do
not
this.
quite sure what she said.
Let me recap what I think I heard. And then Stacy, you tell me if I'm right. She's a paraprofessional in a classroom with a teacher who is preschoolers. And I wasn't sure if the teacher was working well with Stacy or not. I didn't get that part, or whether the teacher's struggling to. She is working well with you. Okay. And so what they're concerned about is they're having trouble getting the preschoolers even to log on and be online with them. Is that correct, Stacy? Yes. So my thought on that is, when they are online, the one thing I would say is make it fun and make it let me tell you a little story, and then Kathy, can you hear me very well now?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Let me tell you a little story. 2 years ago, I had the most wonderful opportunity to go to China. And to visit my daughter, who was working there for 4 weeks, and 4 months, and I got to go there for almost 2 weeks. I visited a school for autism, for children with autism. And in the preschool class, and by the way, those schools are rare in China. I was so lucky. And the preschool there, they had like 1-to-1 adults, and I'm like, wow, how do they have this? I observed a class where it was 1-to-1 with the kids, adult and a child, an adult and a child, and a lot of the adults were older. I found out afterwards that the adults in the room were not teachers; they were grandparents and parents. So. Yes, and what they felt was, with the children with autism, the most effective, and they were using research from all over the world. This was a very well research-based school for autism in Changzhou, China. And they found that when they involved the parents in the class, and the parents learned what the teachers were doing with the children, that the parents could then carry on that learning at home. They even had the kids go through an obstacle course, and they had the grandparents and the parents going with them. Now, why grandparents? Because in China, many times it's the grandparents caring for the children while the parents are working. So many Chinese children are raised by their grandparents. I was so impressed. And then I came back to the States, and I asked my colleagues, does anyone know of any school in the United States that do that? And nobody did. And that's the thing we need to change here. If we want our children, young children especially, to be involved in education, and especially now, we need to get the parents on board. And the way to do that is preschool. I would just say, have it be fun. Have it be fun things, fart guns, singing songs, anything that the parents can do at home too, and make it a parent-child lesson. That would be my big tip. Kathy, what do you add to that?
I will add some visuals to it too, but I just love that. I remember you telling me about the parents and the grandparents involved, and I just thought, oh my gosh, yes, we do need to follow that model. I don't know if you can see me or not, but I do have, it's like a positive behavior flip book. It's some visuals. I've made quite a few of these, and you can go on my website, because I've got free resources. I've got a tab that will say freebies, and I know everybody would love to see that. It's www. And let me spell I give you wings. IGIV as in Victor, U WINGS.
Oh, there's no E in there?
There's no E in it. There's no E in it, right? There's no
I'm
E.
putting it in the
Okay,
chat
it's
box.
IGIVU. WINGS.com, yes. And this is a positive behavior flip book. And I remember at one point, for a preschool student, we put a wait card in there, because this little fella had a really hard time waiting in line, waiting at the barber shop, waiting at the grocery store with his mom, etc. And I'll never forget when we had not only made one for the teacher, but also I made one for the parents too. And they've been practicing. They practiced at school as well as home. And they were at a restaurant, and they had to wait for a table. And when this little fella, waited pretty patiently without a meltdown on the bench, his grandmother says, I want a booklet just like that when he comes to my house. So it was really kind of fun, to see that. So again, it's a PowerPoint template. If you don't like my pictures, you can go ahead and put your pictures in it. And all you have to do is delete my picture and then insert whatever picture you want. But make it fun. I mean, I've done this for high school students as well as for preschool students. And it's a great thing. Some of the things I have in mind, I've got a sit-down card. And this actually saved me at one point because I was getting ready to get hit. But we had been practicing this sit-down for a long time. And this kid coming towards me was getting ready to hit me on the bus. And when I held up my sit-down card, he actually sat down. And I thought, wow, we have been practicing this. That would have been a 0% chance of it working. I've got a good job card in here as well. I also have a first then card. I know a lot of teachers who use that, first that whole pre-MAC principle with, eat your green beans first, then you get your dessert.
Right.
Get to work, which is, a lot of times teachers love this card.
So I'm on your site.
Card.
I'm going to see if I can get in here. I'm going to see if I can get in here, Kathy. I'm going to register on your site. So while you're talking, I am going to.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just put in. Okay, great. So I'm going to share the screen, and you tell me what to click.
Okay. And you know what came up? Okay.
Yeah, it's a little delay.
That's
which one?
That.
Yes, this is all of them.
Yes,
so what did you know the name of that book that you showed us?
Okay, the Positive Behavior Flip Book. And let's see.
Kathy's Positive Behavior Flip Book right here.
There it is, right there. Yes.
There we go.
There it is. Okay. Yeah. And see how it's gosh, this is showing up beautifully too, Susan. Looks really good. See how it has the tabs all the way around it? Your challenge will be to cut everything off except the tab that you want. Does that make sense, or am I explaining myself well enough?
Yes, you are. I have a challenge right now. So you know how I told you I was getting the internet to speed it up? Well, the internet guy came early. My husband just came in and said, the internet guy's here.
Oh, and you know what, Susan, I've got to go. Kirk is having a meltdown. Let me go.
All right. I think we're just going to end this session. Thank you.
Oh, okay, so sorry.
Let me end this very quickly. For Stacy and Aaron. Aaron, are you actually here? I do this sometimes. I'll log on and I'll actually walk away.
No, I'm here. Thank you very much. That last site, I give you wings. Can anybody log in there?
Yes, all I had to do was give her my email address, and I filled in the form, and I was right in. So I'm going to.
Can I provide that to others? And
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
They just have to register.
Thank you so much. I got a few great resources. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I'll be posting this in the Facebook group. Aaron, email me if you want the link to the video.
Oh, okay, thanks. I wrote down most of the links. I think I got it.
All right. So I got the guy here to get faster internet so that so I won't get so many glitches. All right. Thank you for coming so much, and I'll hopefully see you next week.